In a stunning move, China has formally approved a landmark diplomatic proposal from Taiwan, marking the most significant positive shift in cross-strait relations in over 70 years. This sudden agreement could rewrite the long-standing narrative of confrontation between Beijing and Taipei. It represents a dramatic departure from decades of coercion and threats, offering Taiwan dialogue and recognition without sacrificing its core principles. While not a final resolution, this is a critical first step away from conflict, opening a chapter where dialogue and shared interests may replace military posturing. We'll explore the history, the details of the proposal, and its potential to reshape millions of lives. The world is watching to see if this fragile seed of peace will grow or wither under pressure. For the first time in a generation, there's real hope for a peaceful future in the Taiwan Strait. To grasp the magnitude of the 2025 accord, we must revisit the roots of China-Taiwan conflict. The split began in 1949, with rival governments in Beijing and Taipei both claiming legitimacy over all of China. Decades of military standoffs, diplomatic rivalry, and failed reconciliation attempts followed, with the world's recognition shifting to Beijing in the 1970s. Taiwan's democratic evolution and distinct identity made peaceful unification increasingly unlikely, while Beijing alternated between economic incentives and military pressure. This fraught history makes the current approval of Taiwan's proposal truly extraordinary, a sign both sides are ready to try a pragmatic new path. The breakthrough centers on Taipei's shared future framework, crafted in secret and unveiled in November 2025. Both sides agree to set aside the sovereignty dispute for 50 years, pledging not to alter the status quo or escalate militarily. Beijing halts military drills and diplomatic isolation. Taiwan agrees not to seek formal independence or UN membership during this period. Taiwan can expand its participation in global organizations under neutral names, ending its exclusion from vital forums. Joint working groups will tackle economic integration, crime fighting, and direct military communication to prevent escalation. The deal doesn't resolve the ultimate question of unification or independence. It postpones it, betting that decades of cooperation can build lasting peace. It's a calculated gamble, 50 years to transform hostility into trust. The shared future framework will reshape governance on both sides of the strait. For Taiwan, it means relief from diplomatic and military pressure, allowing focus on domestic priorities and international engagement. Yet the 50-year moratorium on independence is controversial, and leaders must convince the public it's a pragmatic move, not capitulation. The deal's success hinges on Beijing's good faith. Any backsliding could spark backlash in Taiwan. For China, this is a strategic pivot from coercion to engagement, boosting its global image and internal legitimacy. However, Beijing must manage nationalist hardliners wary of delaying unification. By neutralizing the Taiwan flashpoint, China can focus on broader priorities while its influence grows through peaceful means. The economic impact of the accord could be transformative, centering on a comprehensive free trade agreement. Tariff-free trade and integrated supply chains will benefit both sides. Taiwan gains access to China's vast market, while China taps into Taiwan's tech expertise. Joint ventures in high-tech sectors and coordinated industrial policies could create a powerful economic bloc. However, deeper integration brings risks. Taiwan could become vulnerable to Chinese economic leverage, threatening its autonomy. Safeguards will be needed to prevent dependency. For China, economic ties are a strategic tool. Prosperity may make separation unthinkable, advancing unification by peaceful means. This is a patient gamble that shared wealth will succeed where threats have failed. The Accord promises to reshape the social and cultural landscape, encouraging travel, tourism, and educational exchanges. Increased interaction could bridge the identity gap, fostering mutual understanding after decades of separation. Collaborative arts and cultural projects may flourish, celebrating both shared roots and unique differences. Yet closer contact brings challenges. Some in Taiwan fear cultural dilution or loss of democratic values. Open dialogue and uncensored communication will be essential despite China's information controls. Ultimately, the agreement opens doors, but building real connections will require effort from both societies. If successful, grassroots ties could create a resilient foundation for peace beyond politics. Experts are divided. Some see the Accord as diplomatic genius, others as a fragile truce. Dr. Evelyn Reed calls it a masterclass in ambiguity, giving both sides space to cooperate without abandoning principles. Retired Admiral James Stavridis warns that trust is hard-won and urges robust crisis communication and continued deterrence. Economists are optimistic about growth, but caution Taiwan against over-reliance on China. Human rights advocates worry that stability could come at the cost of freedoms in both societies. The consensus. This is a landmark opportunity, but fraught with risk. Lasting peace will require vigilance, transparency, and mutual respect. The world will be watching every step. With the initial excitement fading, both sides face the hard work of implementation. The main opportunity is to institutionalize peace. Joint working groups must deliver real results to build trust. Managing domestic opposition will be tough. Taiwan's leaders must show benefits, while China must balance engagement with nationalist expectations. The US must adapt its strategy, supporting Taiwan's security without undermining dialogue. The greatest hope is that a generation raised in peace will see the conflict differently. Success will be measured not just by today's calm, but by whether this framework creates conditions for a permanent solution. The next 50 years will test whether peace can truly take root. The China-Taiwan Accord is a global game-changer, easing US-China tensions and opening doors for cooperation on major issues. Southeast Asian nations gain breathing room, no longer forced to choose sides in a superpower rivalry. The Accord could inspire new approaches to other entrenched conflicts, showing that pragmatism and mutual concessions can work where ultimatums fail. It champions building trust and cooperation from the ground up, rather than demanding immediate final settlements. The shared future framework is more than a bilateral deal. It's a pivotal moment in 21st century diplomacy. Its success could redefine East Asia and offer hope for a more cooperative world order. By choosing dialogue over confrontation, Beijing and Taipei remind us that even the deepest divides can be bridged.